Welcome to the Ask Jordan podcast, answering your questions about selling on Amazon. Now, the award-winning Amazon merchant and best-selling author from Long Island, New York. Here's your host, Jordan Malik.
Hello there, Amazon sellers. My name is Jordan Malik. This is the Ask Jordan podcast, 81st episode. Hey, thanks so much for making me part of your day. Big announcement, April 9th, which is coming up. I'm recording this on March 30th, 2015. On April 9th, 2015, I'm hosting a free 2-hour webinar showing you proven methods and proven success stories of how people around the world are earning 5 to 7 digit income selling products on Amazon, on eBay, on their own website. You sign up now at jordanmalik.com/webinar. You'll see on that page all the details of what we're going to be talking about. You can glean a lot of free information on this webinar. And we're giving away prizes too. Real prizes, a GoPro, a Kindle device, gift cards, business books, the same business books that I've used to grow my entrepreneurship knowledge and businesses, etc. Head over to jordanmalik.com/webinar for all the details. jordanmalik.com/webinar. This is the podcast. If you're listening for the first time, welcome. We only answer questions about selling on Amazon here. So every episode, we answer a different question from the listener, that's you, about selling on Amazon. If you missed any episodes, go to askjordan.net. You'll see our most recent episodes there, and you'll see a link to our archives. They're all 100% free, premium Amazon seller content. You can listen on YouTube. You can listen on iTunes. You can listen right there on the page, askjordan.net. You can listen on Podbay. You can listen on Stitcher. And if you want to hear your voice on an episode and get 7 of my best-selling ebooks 100% free, I'm going to tell you how you can do that after we answer today's question. Today's question is from Kyle in North Carolina. Go ahead, Kyle.
Hey, Jordan. This is Kyle and Jody from Wilmington, North Carolina. We love your podcast. We've listened to every episode now, and it's really inspirational. And we're new FBA sellers. We just sent our first shipment in, and we've been doing quite a bit of work. Just about, a majority of our off time is spent shopping around for FBA. So our question is, and I know there's no one specific answer for this, but our question is, how much product do you buy and how much time do you spend, buying products and sourcing and just time in general dedicated towards FBA do you spend to have a sustainable, perpetual income? Because what we're trying to get an idea of is how much are we good to stop working 2:42 in the afternoon on this Saturday, or should we keep shopping around for FBA items? All right, Jordan, well, I look forward to hearing your answers. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Kyle, thank you so much for the compliments about the show. I do appreciate it, and I do listen to all compliments and critiques. And this show is designed for people just like you. So thank you very much. And I am very happy that you're an ecstatic, enthusiastic listener. Let's get to answering your question, Kyle. You ask 100 different sellers who make between, let's say, $50,000 and $100,000 profit per year on Amazon. You're going to get 100 different answers on how much time they spend. I have a lot of to talk about on this and a lot of tips for you. So I'll give you an example. One gal who is a quote-unquote student of mine, she's read some of my earlier ebooks on selling on Amazon, selling on eBay. She saw an ad, I think it was an ad for Craigslist, a local woman in her area, I think she's in Texas. She was giving up her Care Bear collection. Now, I don't know if you know about Care Bears, but there's a kind of still a hardcore collector audience for Care Bears. It's a lot smaller than it was 20 years ago. And I'm talking about, generally the plush Care Bears. There's your different Care Bear for every mood, every color, whatever. And there's still a hardcore collectors, but it's not like it was 20 years ago. So you have a lot of people today that are giving up their Care Bear collection. And I know what you're thinking, Jordan, Care Bears are plush. You can't sell them on Amazon. Yes, you can. Plush are considered toys. Amazon calls used toys collectible as long as it's 100% intact with or without the original retail tag. Clean. No snots, no puke, whatever. Yeah, you can sell plush. And I wrote the book on that. If you go to plushprofits.com, I'm not trying to say that, so you have to buy the book. You don't need the book to sell it, etc. But anyway, this gal bought the Plush Profits book and was like, wow, I can make money on Amazon selling plush, pre-owned plush. Sure you can. She found a woman locally who had a Craigslist ad. She was selling her entire collection of Care Bears. I forget the exact number, but they ran in the hundreds quantity, several hundred of them. I think she sold them to her for like $800 for everything. And this gal's net profit from just selling off a fraction of what she had purchased was like, I don't know, I think she said $30,000, because some of these Care Bears with the tag still on them were going for, $50, $100, $200. And you multiply that times, 300 or 400 Care Bears, and your net profit margin, your net dollar profit is up there in the tens of thousands of dollars. That's an extreme example. So her total time invested in finding that woman, and this is a rare case, I understand that, her total time invested in finding the woman and then bagging, tagging, and shipping everything. I mean, you're talking about probably a good week's worth of work, but a net profit of $30,000. Over the course of maybe 3-4 months, she netted that is nothing to shake a stick at. On the other extreme, you have folks who live in the middle of Wyoming, and it's hard for them to get to sources of products to resell on Amazon or on eBay. And they may make $10,000 a year in that profit and spend 40 hours a week. But here's what I did when I started out. I call it front loading. Okay, so a great product to find and resell still to this day is books. There's going to be other sellers who disagree with me that say that they will say, Jordan, the sources for used books have all dried up, and that's the opposite is true. The easy, low-hanging fruit for used books, used CDs, is saturated with competition. So now when a library has their annual or semi-annual or monthly book sale, what do you see? You see 10, 20, 30, 40 people showing up with scanners that are doing the same thing. That's the low-hanging fruit. That's where everybody goes because they think it's easy and there's no barrier to competition. They can just walk in with a scanner, and that's why you're seeing multiple resellers at book sales. I'm not going to talk too much about the attributes of selling used books, but the profit potential is extremely lucrative for used books that you can still to this day, my wife and I stumble across, in a garage sale, yard sale, used books, let's say for nursing or cookbooks, very unique cookbooks or whatever that are used, that we buy for 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, $1.50, $2, $5 that sell for 10, 15, 20, $50, $100 and up. And we don't even look for them. We stumble across them. So the lucrative potential that I think Amazon overall probably has less than 1% of used books in America on their site, right? So it's like a fraction of 1%. So there's so much out there that's not even that is just waiting to be sourced from somebody to send into Amazon to sell. So let's get back to the front loading. When I started out on this business 5 years ago, by the way, it's 5 years ago this month I was fired. When I started out, I called all the local libraries. There's 80 libraries in Long Island, so something around 80. I forget the exact number. But I called a bunch of them and I asked them if they sell used books. Not during the book sales, but many public libraries in this region anyway have used book sales racks within their library. And my wife and I shared one car, 2003 Chevrolet Tahoe with 80,000 plus miles on it. My wife was a house cleaner. She had her own house cleaning business. She worked for herself. I was fired, and my father-in-law used to drive me around in his van. And very humbling because I was like 39 at the time, 39 years old. My father-in-law drove me around in his van, which also had 80,000 miles on it. He'd drive me to all the area libraries. I would go in with my scanner, scan the books in the used book rack, come out with an armful of books that I paid $3 for that ended up selling for total 30, 50, etc. And I front loaded. So anywhere that I went, I brought my scanner with me. And I was scouting for books, CDs, etc. at garage sales, thrift stores, libraries, etc. And just sending in massive quantities of books. So I was working at like 40 hours a week, sourcing and sending books into Amazon. And the net result of that, only after a couple months at the most, was my net profits per week worth like over $1,000 per week. So I'm saying that as an extreme example. You don't have to do that. you'll find sellers that stumble across, a storage bin at a storage bin auction that will stumble across, 1,000 Star Trek toys still new in the package, right? So they've just made their $30,000 from one visit to one storage auction, right? So my suggestion to you is to try to front load. So if you haven't explored the used books, now you have to go a little bit underground. You have to be a little bit more creative in sourcing used books. I'll include a couple links for my best resources in that within the show notes for this podcast. Instead of going on vacation, dedicate a full week with you and your wife sourcing used books across the state. I don't know where you're in North Carolina, so there's plenty of opportunity there. Front load. If you don't want to front load, you don't want to spend a 40-hour week front loading. And the reason why I say front loading is that helps generate a continuous revenue stream. So when you front load and you send in as many things as you can, just say send in 1,000, 2,000 books into Amazon, those sales are going to sustain you for a longer period of time, where if you don't have to source as much, or you can quit sourcing entirely, and you'll have that steady revenue stream from your sales on Amazon because they're housed in the Amazon warehouse, the FBA warehouse. Amazon takes care of everything. And by the way, when you're out scouting for books, I recommend a scanning app for your phone. It's called Profit Bandit. You can Google it. It's $9.99 a month. If you're a power scouter and you like to scan large volumes of merchandise quickly, you're probably going to need something more like Nitoscan. Go to nitoscan.com. You can get that for the iPhone or the Android. If you want a comparison of those scanning services, you can send an email to jordanmalik@gmail.com. Make sure you type in the subject just 2 words, scanner review. Scanner review. Send an email to jordanmalik@gmail.com with the subject line scanner review. You'll get an auto reply with comparing the best scanning, what I think are the best scanning services for people who want to find products out there that are selling on Amazon by scanning barcodes. Where was I? So the front loading option is one. The other option is for you to be scouting wherever you go. Make scouting part of your daily ritual, right? So what my wife loves to shop. What woman doesn't like to shop? My wife loves to shop, and now she brings her iPhone, which she has on her already. It's got the Profit Bandit app on it, and while she's shopping for stuff, she'll head over to the clearance aisle, whether she's in a grocery store, or the Hallmark store, or Kohl's or Nordstrom's or Macy's, and she'll find clearance products, and she'll scan the barcode using her Profit Bandit app, and she'll see that she'll find stuff that costs $5, $10 that we can resell on Amazon for $25, $35, $50, etc. So she's making scouting without me even asking her, because it's fun, and she's making it part of her daily routine. So you should always be scouting, Kyle, no matter what you're doing. I tell people who start selling on Amazon, they're like, I don't have enough time, and I'll say, okay, how much time do you spend golfing? Going, your golf trips, how much time are you spending those? How much time are you spending watching TV? And if their answer is anything more than 2 hours, 3 hours a week, I'll tell them, well, if you're serious about this business, if you're serious about creating a revenue stream, if you're serious about having that revenue coming in so you don't have to work as hard in your regular job, or if you want to make it a full-time gig selling products on Amazon or eBay, use the hours you're using for recreation for quote-unquote working instead. And some people just aren't cut out for that. They'll say, well, I don't have time, I need my downtime, and maybe that's not for them. So that is another suggestion, is that instead of going out to eat, watching TV, going to the movies, sitting in the lounge chair in the backyard, going on a golf excursion or a trip or whatever, allocate that time for scouting. And Kyle, particularly that you're in North Carolina, I'm not sure where you are in North Carolina, but if you're anywhere near like the eastern part, where Raleigh, Durham, etc., you're surrounded by products. I don't care if you're talking about colleges who may have used book sales racks, or go in there and start negotiating with the book store manager to see what inventory they have that's left over that they would get rid of. If you're talking about yard sales, right now it's yard sale season is going to start kicking up. Yard sales, garage sales, etc. I'm sure the retail stores that have clearance stuff on clearance all the time are everywhere around you. Craigslist, OfferUp is a site that's like Craigslist, but it's safer to use and it's easier to use. So a lot of homeowners are putting their used and new baby product. Well, you can only sell new for baby products, but new baby products that they have left over from the still sealed products that they have left over from their when they had their child. They have toys, used games, used toys, used kitchen appliances that are all legitimate to sell on Amazon. So the products are all around you. I guess it's how efficiently you use your time. And I can't give you a number of hours, but one thing that people are doing is that they are hiring, and I'll put a link to the training for this, very inexpensive training for this. People are hiring people to do their scouting for them. And that's how you scale the business when you're sourcing locally. If you're going to source products locally from Toys R Us or yard sales or Craigslist, you can hire people on a contract basis, or pay them cash or whatever. You don't have to hire them as quote unquote employees. People are hiring family members or friends or whatever to go do their scouting for them, and they pay them either a flat hourly fee or they pay them a percentage of the profits, etc. So there's 26 ways for you, Kyle, to do this efficiently, where you don't have to dedicate a 40-hour work week to selling products on Amazon. You can do 5, 10, 15 hours or hire somebody else to do it and still reap the rewards, because the merchandise that you can resell on Amazon is virtually everywhere. The quitters, not you, Kyle, but the quitters that are complaining about it right now are the people that were used to doing this 5 years ago where it was low-hanging fruit, right? So I know I'm belaboring the point a little bit, but 3, 4, 5 years ago, you could walk into any Toys R Us or any Walmart and pick up an armful of toys on sale or not. Didn't matter. And bring them home and sell them for 3 times the price on Amazon, and they'd sell. 3, 4, 5 years ago, you could go into a library book sale, be the only person scanning, and spend $100 and walk out with a carload of books, literally a profit value of thousands of dollars. And that's a low-hanging fruit that was very easy to get 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. The low-hanging fruit is still there, but people got to work for it a little bit more. They got to get their hands a little bit dirty. I just posted an article on my Facebook business page, jordanmalik.com, a guy that does dumpster diving. And I'm not recommending dumpster diving because it can be dangerous. There's a gray area of whether or not it's illegal, but he does dumpster diving in all the big box stores, the Best Buys, the Walmarts, etc., and walks away with brand new merchandise or slightly damaged packaging, etc. And the reporter who followed him, this guy only does it 10 hours a week or something like that. But the reporter that followed him said if you annualize his earnings in the 10 hours and you make it a 40-hour work week, his annual net profit pre-tax probably $600,000. And we live in a throwaway culture in America, unfortunately. There's not a lot of people that are pro selling stuff that they don't need anymore. They just throw it out. Whether you're a big box retail store or a homeowner, right? You're throwing away merchandise that's perfectly good to resell. Kyle, also ask your friends. Okay, do whatever you can, have this stuff come to you. Place a wanted Craigslist ad or Facebook. Ask your friends, do you have any used books at home that are in these categories? You can say cookbooks, any books on niche topics like antiques or guns or whatever, or textbooks, so especially textbooks, college textbooks, etc. Do you have any used games, small ride-on toys, still new and packaged baby products that you don't want anymore? Have your friends help you out. Most people are embarrassed to do that. I'm not. And have them bring the stuff to you, or not literally bring the stuff to you. You can go pick it up, but have your friends do the talking. And as soon as you start hamming it up with one of them, they got a relative or somebody that says, hey, I've got an attic full of toys from 6 years ago, and my child's outgrown them. You can come haul them away, and take them for nothing. So just use your time efficiently. There's plenty of products out there. You don't have to make this a full-time job selling on Amazon. My wife and I spend an average of 10 to 15 hours. Not even. It's more like probably an average of 5 to 10 hours per week on our Amazon business. Each of us spend that. Christmas time, it gets to be like a 40-hour work week, and I understand that because it's crazy. But on average, we're probably spending 10 hours a week per each of us, 10 hours a week on our Amazon business, and our net take-home is, between 60... I'd say per year, 2013 to 2014, it's between $60,000 and $80,000. And we run a number of businesses. This is just one of them. So it can be done. Good luck. Keep me posted, okay? Kyle and Jody, I guess that's Kyle's wife. They get 7 of my ebooks about selling on Amazon and eBay just for submitting this question. And Kyle, just head over to AskJordan.net, click on the small envelope icon in the upper right-hand corner, send me an email so I know where to send your ebooks to. And if you, the listener, want to submit a question to the podcast and have a chance to win all my best-selling ebooks like Kyle, call 516-619 online. That's 516-619-6654. Or go to AskJordan.net, scroll down, look for the directions of submitting your question via your computer microphone. Hey, thanks again for listening. This has been the Ask Jordan Podcast. We'll see you again in our next episode.